gone by, but they treat me the same. They reaching way back, trying to change the time, tearing up the laws just to see me confined. Memories fade, but the pain still stays. They don't care about the rules, they just want me to pay. A sentence too heavy, a verdict too cold, breaking all the limits while the story unfolds. Where's the justice now? Yeah, law don't care and the courts allow. Taking freedom like a thief in the night, fighting for my soul, but they dim my light. Either where's the justice now? When the truth get lost in the lies so loud. But I'ma stand tall even when they deny, 'cause a man's still a man in the Father's eyes. Statutes written, made to hold the line, but they crossed them out like they ain't worth the dime. 20 years heavy for a crime time bar. How you call it justice when the system's so scarred? This ain't just me, it could be you one day, when they move the goalpost and take your rights away. A story of a brother they refuse to defend, but the fight ain't over, this ain't the end. Where's the justice now? When the law don't care and the courts allow it round. Taking freedom like a thief in the night, fighting for my soul, but they dim my light. They round. Where's the justice now? When the truth get lost in the lies so loud. But I'ma stand tall even when they deny, 'cause a man's still a man in the Father's eyes. I believe that the truth gon' rise. They can chain my body, but my spirit still flies. Appeals won't stop me, my name won't fade. Legends live on through the storms they made. Where's the justice now? When the law don't care and the courts allow. Taking freedom like a thief in the night, fighting for my soul, but they dim my light. Where's the justice now? Where's the justice now? The law don't care and the courts allow. Taking freedom like a thief in the night, fighting for my soul and they dim my lights. Okay, people, what's up? What's up? What's up? I got something here for you. Something here for you tonight. I'm supposed to be at the Bible study, but I took a break and, you know, I came across this video from another channel that was, what is it? Kingdom Reacts. I went to Kingdom Reacts video, but I didn't want to use his video, so I had to come and use my own video of this conversation about Obama. I never knew about this man named, oh God, I'm having an issue going on right now. Y'all just gotta excuse me. Yep. But anyway, I never knew about this Keys character from out in Chicago or wherever he from. I don't even know where he from, but anyway. But I know he was a candidate and he was running for presidency at the time. I guess when Obama was president or not president. I'm not sure what year that this really took place. I have to do a little bit more research. But still in all, I never heard of him. And when I went to Kingdom Reacts channel and I heard this man say the things he said about Obama, I said, I gotta share this. I said it was always something about Obama. This was how many years? This was 17 years ago, this video. And from what Kingdom Act said on his channel is that this video was hidden from the public for a long time. Because see, sometimes people make videos, but they suppress it. And this video was hidden for some reason. It was suppressed. But see, you can't hide from God. God is going to show up and show out in the right time. God is like telling us something. All along, Black America, we always thought Obama was the black president, the first black president. And I was fooled with it too. I shared yesterday with my video about how I was congratulating him and his family and what he's doing and da 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 because I was so caught up with the sensation. I didn't understand then because I never really followed politics that heavy. I never did. I was just only excited about the fact that it was a black family that was winning the House. And that's all I looked at. I didn't go no further. But I do remember Trump was trying to give us the warning. Okay, I remember Trump, and because of the way Trump is. Okay, Trump's a business person. He comes from the business world. So the way he communicates, sometimes people get a little bit like they dismiss it, okay? But that's not who he is. He's just very passionate, okay? Trump is just once you get to learn Trump is a very passionate person, and he's not the type of person, and he's a Gemini, okay? So he's a passionate person, and he meant well. He was trying to really, really stop America, but America was trying to silence him and everything. And he was a politician. He wasn't a he was a businessman. He wasn't a politician. So they didn't really feel anything he had to say was relevant. So that's when Trump decided he was going to, become Republican so that he can run for presidency. Okay, because he just started seeing. See, Trump wasn't a politician. Let's always remember that. He wasn't a politician. He always meant well for the American people, American families, faith, family, all of that. Even though he had his own struggles with his own, like that's not our business. Things like that is like, hey, everything about people's life shouldn't always be all the reason how we should judge them. So I'm just saying that I never ever understood that Trump was trying to warn America at the time, and everybody kept attacking Trump and saying he was a racist. And then you had Al Sharpton out there. All of this stuff kind of like these people silenced our voices. Even Jesse Jackson saw it. Okay, Jesse Jackson tears was in Jesse Jackson's eyes that moment that because Jesse Jackson knew it. And he couldn't do much to do anything. I guess by that time, Jesse Jackson was like, oh, hell, they ain't going to listen to me anyway. So, he just left it alone, whatever. But you saw the Jesse Jackson was sitting there crying when when Obama won that election. And everybody was wondering what those tears was about. We thought he was happy that he was there, but that wasn't what he was crying about. And then you got to go back to Jesse Jackson Jr.'s story in Chicago, how they messed him up so that he would not run for office. You see what I'm saying? Because he also had he had the credentials. He was a black young man, probably around the same age, a little young. He was younger than Obama. Okay, he was a young man. He was in politics, and everybody was gonna walk on always be so perfect. So he would have been somebody's. Everybody would have probably voted for. So they had to find a way to block him. So they came and attacked him, and he went to jail. And they messed up his career. They messed his reputation up in Chicago, whatever. So people lost trust in him and won't listen to him and won't vote for him, whatever. So this is what these Democrats do. Okay? They have always, and now look at all the stuff going on around them. They so-called human rights groups and all of these other things turn out to be supporting terrorism. They always been, it's rooted in the history of Democrats. You need to do your American history. Democrats have always been rooted in what you call the KKK. They were terrorists. They used to kill the Christians. They used to kill the Christian Republicans that did not want to be a part of slavery. Okay? They killed anybody that got in the way of their way of corruption. Okay? They killed the Kennedys. They have a history of wickedness, and it took root here in the United States of America, and it's so deep. But we black people could not understand that because we were coming out of chains. And remember, the slaves did not know how to read. The slaves had no rights. They couldn't read. They was going through a lot. So we really didn't have that much power to really do anything. Not all states were slave states. That's another thing. All the states in America wasn't a slave state. So not everybody was a slave that was here. It was just the people that they did bring over here from these places of the world and chains. Okay? And if you see how these Africans act, you see why. They was put or brought over here. If you see the behavior of these Africans when they come over here to the United States now, you see why they became chains I'm sorry, enslaved. Okay? So anyway, let's get into the video, y'all, because I want to get back to the Bible study, but I just wanted to share this tonight with y'all. And when I got this message, I was like, they suppressed this video. They did not want us to see this video. They did not want us to hear this man. Do your history. I was like, wow, all of this was going on in America. Now, we're going to get to the video because he had said some real stuff.
And I think it's becoming clear. That's what I told people in Illinois, and now everybody... Obama is a radical communist, and I think it's becoming clear. That's what I told people in Illinois, and now everybody realizes it's true. He's going to destroy this country, and we're either going to stop him, or the United States of America is going to cease to exist.
Do you still hold regrets against not having long enough time to debate against President Obama?
I don't have any regrets. I went into Illinois. People told me at the time I didn't stand much of a chance of winning. The idea was to bear a true witness. The man is an abomination. He is someone who has actually advocated infanticide, that when babies are the target of abortion, if they happen to escape the abortionist's intention and are born alive, he actually supported the idea that those babies should be set aside to die. That is a man with such a seared conscience, I can't even understand why anybody in their right mind would consider him worthy of political support. That's a violation of conscience that is inconceivable. And even some of the most hardline pro-abortion people in America rejected that abomination, and he did not.
So what does tonight mean when President Obama is president of the United States? How
is he? That's another question. Is he president of the United States? According to the Constitution, in order to be eligible for president, you have to be a natural-born citizen. He has refused to provide proof that he is, in fact, a natural-born citizen. And his Kenyan relations say that he was born in Nairobi at a time when his mother was too young to transmit U.S. citizenship. So I'm not even sure he's president of the United States. No, that's not a laughing matter. Neither are many of our military people now who are going to court to ask the question, do we have to obey a man who is not qualified under the Constitution? We're in the midst of the greatest crisis this nation has ever seen. And if we don't stop laughing about it and deal with it, we're going to find ourselves in the midst of chaos, confusion, and...
Remember, he said this 17 years ago, y'all. 17 years ago. And what do we see today? What do we see today? This video was 17 years ago. Let's look at the history of this video. Let me see. This man said this 17, look, it says right here, 17 years ago. This was before Obama even probably, this is when Obama was running for presidency, or when he won presidency, this man said this. Okay? So when is people going to start listening? When are people going to open their eyes that this is why we have the crisis? And we had the crisis because of 9/11. Remember, it was 9/11. Remember, the towers were taken down. And who was the president then? George W. Bush. George W. Bush was the president at the time when those towers were taken down. And who stepped in power by the Democrats? Obama. Okay? It was Obama. When those towers were taken down in the United States of America, George Bush served 2 terms. That was from 2001 all the way up until 2009. Okay? Go do your research. This man said this 17 years ago. And he said that's when he was talking about the crisis we were in and how America was going to still see the consequences for voting for Obama. Let's go on.
Alleged to be someone who's occupying that office without constitutional warrant to do so. And he's rushing forward.
And why is Ilhan Omar? She's a Muslim. And then on top of that, the first thing they trying to challenge and destroy is our Constitution, trying to change, which is written in stone. We only going to change with the framework of the Constitution, not the Constitution. Okay? As we go on in history, the only thing we are to touch, whatever that time is, and whatever's going on in that time, and we need to correct it, is when we go to that Constitution to correct it for the American people. Not for foreigners, not for immigrants, but for the American people. Let's go on.
Ideas like destroying our borders, an amnesty bill that will actually have the American taxpayer footing the bill for illegals to come to this country to live, to get housing, and to get
Trump need to reach out to him.
everything they want. He is also somebody who has just announced a program that would essentially destroy the validity of existing mortgages and encourage everybody in the country.
And what's going on now, y'all? Listen to this man 17 years ago.
To stop paying their mortgage because the government is going to pay it instead. This is insanity. It's as if we have put insane children and adolescents in charge of our government. And I think we need to ask simple questions. A couple of years ago, we were arguing over every penny in the United States budget, and it was quite clear we didn't have enough money to go around. Well, somebody asked me where we came up with $2 trillion in the course of the last 6 months. Did we wish for it out of the air? Have people gone mad in this country? You don't have that money. We are claiming that a bankrupt government can save a bankrupt banking system. Explain to me how that happens, because I think that's impossible. And the fact that we have just elected an individual who may or may not be qualified, and he presents silly ideas like this and says, let's move forward now, and we're all acting like the laws of economics have been repealed, and we can actually afford to foot the bill with money nobody's got. This is insane. It's got to lead to the collapse of our economy, and it's going to.
Okay, there you go, y'all. So, like, share. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to the Casey McDaniel That Speaks channel. And I got to get back to my Bible study. But here is the video. Here is the proof. And this man said it 17 years ago. And look at what's going on in Congress. And look at what's going on today in America. So, with that being said, God bless you. And let me get my word in. Okay? Take care. Peace.